have a CRM that tracks proposals and the proposal is marked as inactive or goes cold, let that trigger a nurture sequence that sends that prospect those top articles that answer sales questions, address objections, demonstrate wild expertise in the topic. So now you're actually showing your articles to the most valuable visitor or viewer you possibly could, which is your prospect. Put your sales question answering articles in front of prospects wherever you can. Another trick I'll share we do, which is we don't send proposals. We make a page for that client.
Welcome to Rocky Mountain Marketing. I'm your host, Katie Brinkley. Join us as we dive deep with the world's leading digital marketing experts every single Tuesday. It's all about giving you the strategies that are working right now, directly from those who are making an impact. With my 20 years of experience, I'm here to help you navigate the world of digital marketing. Whether you're looking to sharpen your skills or transform your business, you're in the right place. Let's get started on today's journey to success. What does it really take to make content that not only ranks, but converts in today's crazy algorithm-filled digital landscape? The algorithms are always evolving, right? It feels like once we have an understanding of what algorithms working, what platforms are working, well, then they go ahead and make an update. And then there's AI is completely reshaping the way that we're approaching marketing. And well, honestly, our entire lives is reshaping all of it. And then attention spans, man, they're shorter than ever. It used to be a 3-second attention span. Now we're at 1.3 seconds. Honestly, the old playbook, it just doesn't cut it anymore. And that's why I'm really excited for today's guest. Yes, it is Andy Crestodina. He is the co-founder of Orbit Media. And that Orbit Media is a content marketing and SEO studio. He is also the author of Content Chemistry. And normally whenever I have guests on the show, I put their book on the shelf right over my shoulder here. Well, Andy's book would probably break my shelf. It is like a textbook and it is a gigantic book. It answers literally every question you could possibly think of. And it's right here, Content Chemistry. If you've ever struggled with finding a way to make your content work harder for your business, well, this book is a masterclass. I've seen Andy speak multiple times and he is just a wealth of knowledge. So we are so fortunate to have him on today's show. Andy, thank you so much for joining me on Rocky Mountain Marketing today.
Katie, I was honored by the invite and I'm super excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
And yes, and like I said, normally I put the book on the bookshelf right behind me here, but I really think that if I add this book onto the shelf, it might break. It is like the masterclass to content marketing. And when you brought it out, you and I did a book exchange at Social Media Marketing World in 2024. And where you were a speaker, and I said, hey, why don't you bring your book out and I'll bring my book out and we can sign it for each other and exchange. And then you brought it out and I was like, well, so much for my bag being lighter on the way home. Yeah, this is a masterclass.
You had to carry it back, not me.
Well, Andy, you've been in this space for over 2 decades and you've really seen a shift with the way content marketing has evolved. If we were to look at where we are today in 2025, what do you think some of the biggest shifts are in the content marketing world? Like what shifts are you seeing in the content marketing strategy landscape?
Big changes. Short form video is obviously dominant. Click-through rates from search are obviously down. LinkedIn is trending. One of the things that I find that's working really, really well right now, for B2B at least, is the LinkedIn newsletter. Because as an SEO, I was always kind of at odds with the platform because Google has no interest in sending anybody free traffic. But as a LinkedIn newsletter publisher, I feel like I'm aligned with the platform because LinkedIn wants traffic and I'm helping them get traffic by publishing articles there and they send them out and the growth is far better than I would have thought. So lots of changes, I think. But yeah, some of the things you mentioned at the top, it's just a little more crowded than before. People are a little more busy than before. So more than ever, let's stay differentiated. Let's go deeper into our topics. Let's obsess over quality. And still, and we do a big survey about this every year, still some of the things that worked before are going to work today. Original research, highly collaborative formats like we're doing now, or like articles with lots of contributor quotes from experts. Highly visual content, kind of like we're doing now, but also just articles that have lots of images in them. So it is still a world where these things all work, but the people who are pulling ahead are the ones who are either aligning better with the platform or aligning better with their audience or just going farther and deeper and stronger than the others. That's how to adapt in a disrupted world. And of course, I'm sure we'll talk about AI.
Yeah, yeah. And I love that you brought in LinkedIn newsletters. That's something that I jumped on. I was going to say the LinkedIn newsletter bandwagon, I'd say right when they first launched. And I love the data that you get from it. Like I can see my open rates, I can see how many people it was delivered to, how many people are subscribed. And my LinkedIn newsletter performs way better than my actual email newsletter. I know that we always are trying to grow on a platform that we own, and email is one of the best ways to do it. But so if someone says, well, wait a second, why should I be even focusing on my own email list, or why should I be focusing on LinkedIn newsletters if I already have an email list? Can you just explain some of the pros and cons between those two?
Sure, I have this debate. I mean, people want to argue with me, and I get it because I've said it a million times myself. Don't build on rented land. I still have my home on my digital platform. Everything I publish, I also publish on my website. That's the first place everything is published. LinkedIn to me is a syndication play, just like some people use Medium or Substack. You take the article that you wrote on your website, and 2 days later, or the next day, you open the LinkedIn editor, click write article, and you move the article in there. And now there's a second place where people can access it. LinkedIn will help you promote it there. It took me 15 years to get up to maybe 15,000 subscribers for my newsletter. That's a lot of work. I had 15,000 LinkedIn subscribers within less than a year. It's now a very large number. I'm embarrassed to say how big, but LinkedIn's promoting it. You're aligned. It makes sense. Here's the strategy change. Set aside visits and focus on views, which is what every YouTuber and every TikToker, and it's totally normal, not weird at all. But it makes sense, and it's just another way to promote the content you're already making and promoting and publishing on your site and sending through your own newsletter. Don't change that. Keep doing that. But you can also have this other channel, which is can do great things for brand awareness and visibility. It's just not driving traffic, but what are we doing here anyway? We're trying to be a top of mind brand.
Yeah. Well, and I think that that's one of the biggest struggles that a lot of business owners have is where should I be spending time? Where should I focus? And so I think that what worked 5 years ago isn't working today, and it can get really overwhelming with what all of the changes are. If someone is saying, okay, well, maybe a LinkedIn newsletter, you make it sound so easy, Andy, like, okay, I'll go ahead and do a LinkedIn newsletter. Or what would you suggest if someone's considering revamping their content strategy today? Where should they start?
Well, the LinkedIn newsletter really is not a massive expenditure of time for me. It's like I get up early on a Thursday morning and I move the article in there, and it's like maybe an hour or two at most. I have to make the featured image just be a certain size and dimensions. But what I'd recommend to anybody who's just publishing an endless series of kind of medium quality stuff is to reconsider your frequency and instead just obsess for a minute over quality and formats. Is there any original research in your content program? If so, you are a primary source for new information. You've added to the internet. You made something that's new. You're a new source of truth, and journalists love that. Another one, thought leadership. Have you ever taken a stand on something? Are you willing to write that you're for something and against something else? If you do that, you are a categorically different kind of marketer. You come across differently. You feel different. Original research crushes it better than any other format for attracting links. Important for search. Thought leadership crushes it more than any other format in terms of starting conversation. Great for social media. These are the two formats that perform best in these two channels, search and social. Original research, thought leadership. So even if it's like twice a year, publish a big study or a survey or look for data in your business. You might have a bunch. I have access to like 500 analytics accounts, so I can actually credibly publish like what's the average engagement rate on websites, like stuff like that. These are the things that will make you very different, and being different right now is most of the game.
Yeah, I think that is something to really focus in on, is what makes you different. Our mutual friend, Rich Brooks, calls it your remarkability factors. What is it that makes you different? Sometimes it's, like for me, I'm a social media agency owner, but I'm telling you to not post on social media so much. And I think that finding out what your differentiator is will help you stand out in a very crowded marketplace, because as much as I'd love to say I'm the only social media agency in the world, I'm not even the only social media agency in this building, so
I have that feeling too.
yeah.
I'm like, I walk around and like, are most people agency owners? It seems like
Yeah.
literally most humans in this world. Like I was hanging out with like four of them at a bar, and the guy next to me was also one. Like there's five of us in within 10 feet. Very
It,
crowded
it
space.
yeah, and it's so important for you to find what it is that makes you different, because not only will it help you really find your ideal client and customers, but it'll help you with ranking. And this actually is a
Mhm.
great segue over into SEO, because I
Mhm.
think that, as you were saying before, like, oh, I was posting and Google didn't really want to like give me credit for the stuff I was sharing on LinkedIn. But, SEO is always evolving, right? And I think that it's hard to figure out what will work and what will rank in content these days. So what are you seeing this in 2025 that's actually working for ranking with your message for SEO?
Yeah, the mega trend in search is something that I've been tracking for many years. I take full page screenshots of Google search results pages, and I have for a very long time. And it allows me to put side by side or almost like make like animations or slideshows that show how search results have changed for specific key phrases. And once you see them really like all together, 10 years of screenshots of SERPs, they're called search engine results pages, it's insane just how many more things are in search results. Ranking is one thing, but your position on the page is something else. Because you can rank number one for a key phrase, 2013, and you're sort of at the top of the viewport right there, like a couple hundred pixels down from the very top of the browser. You can rank number one for that same phrase today, and you are 1,500 pixels from the top of the viewport because there's ads and maps, and people also ask boxes and all kinds of featured snippets.
Well, now the Gemini, right? The Google Gemini.
AI overviews, exactly. It's basically just a mega featured snippet, and it's not different. It's not new. It's the same trend we've all been experiencing. There's a kind of a sociology term called creeping normalcy. You don't really notice things when they change gradually. So that's what's happened. So click-through rates from search are down. The good news, it's mostly for information intent queries, people looking for answers, mostly affecting content marketing programs. Let's find other channels for our content that can't over rely on search. The commercial intent key phrases for the money pages, your home page, your service pages, your products, those phrases still do have high click-through rates because people are still trying to get to a website to evaluate options because they're making a real decision. They're like in research mode. They have strong intent. So that's the big change in search, and people don't talk about it as much as they talk about core up. The SEO community is hilarious to me. Core updates, they get like very triggered by like, and they have to be reminded by with things like the helpful content update. Oh, I should make helpful content, or EAT, expertise, authority, and trust. Oh, I should add trust to my pages. You should have been doing that the whole time. SEOs are the blinds. There's a giant blind spot in marketing for SEOs because I tease them publicly at SEO conferences. Those people, they're all cheese and no mousetrap. Make pages that convert. Like, what do you do with your visitor after they land? Did you convince, persuade? Are you triggering cognitive biases? Did you add lots of proof points to these pages and answer questions? Do your pages do a good objection handling? That's sales. That's marketing. Whatever the objection are, whatever people need to have answered before they buy, well, today they have to have that answered before they click on your call to action. I can talk about this for an hour, but yeah, I'm very passionate about not just traffic, but also conversion rates and visitor psychology.
And now for a quick break. We've all heard that AI can change the way that you do business. If you have a podcast, if you have a YouTube channel, are you repurposing your long form content to its full capabilities? And that's where Capsho comes in. Check out Capsho and how they can help you create more content by visiting katiebrinkley.live/Capsho today and start using Capsho and AI to work smarter, not harder.
Just a note, if you use the links I provide, I may receive compensation.
You kind of brought it up there when you were talking about where you rank on Google's page. I love being able to rank for my own name, Katie Brinkley, but I mean, it'd be way cooler if I could just rank for SEO or social media agency in Denver or social media and podcast production company near me, so I mean, like, that would be better. But I've found that with a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing, it's almost that you want to make your content, I was going to say AI-able or maybe
Yes,
ChatGPT-able.
absolutely.
Can we talk about that a little bit? Because
for
A
sure.
lot of times people aren't even going to our websites anymore to click on the thing.
Very important topic. I am publishing on this next week or the following week, how to build an AI friendly website, or maybe we're going to call it AI accessibility, because AI is one of your visitors. Our visitors not skipping search engines completely and going straight to an AI chatbot and asking for recommendations there. How do you get an AI chatbot to recommend your brand? There's lots of research about this. I've been teaching and publishing this. I have articles and videos about this. Really, really important topics. So first of all, in search, it's not over yet. And Katie, if you add one more sort of parameter and niche down where it's like, podcast production agency in Denver for B2B brands, it'll be a trickle of traffic, but you can still attract qualified visitors by making a bigger site with more pages targeting more specific key phrases. What works in AI is simply brand mentions, because every time that your brand is mentioned anywhere, if AI crawls that you're now in the training data and to appear in AI recommendations and in Chapter 2 ChatGPT responses or Buxity Gemini responses, you need for there to be lots of mentions of your brand adjacent to the names of the things that you do. So every time you record a show, you should make Chris Penn calls it a slug. You say something like this: Orbit Media Studios is a web design and development agency that builds high-performing, search-optimized, conversion-optimized B2B lead gen websites. We also optimize those sites after they're live through search optimization and conversion, blah, blah, blah. That little chunk of text now gets transcribed and ingested by the AI. You want those everywhere. That's going to be the future for, we don't even know the name of this category or this service. AIO, well, Google used that term. GEO, generative engine optimization. Okay, I've heard that a few times. Maybe that's going to be the thing. There's not like even a name for this yet. I think it might be GEO in the end, which sounds weird, but fine. But no, you like that one? Yeah. Are we going to say it? GEO?
I think it kind of sounds cool, but yeah. Yeah, I like GEO.
In Europe, they pronounce SC. Yeah, it's weird. But that idea, that is what will work. There's many other little things that we can do, but for the most part, block chatbots from crawling your site, have clear, specific descriptions throughout your site, publish everywhere, and whenever you do, make sure that blurb includes your brand next to all the related phrases. I even think we should probably make here's my own idea. This is kind of a new one. I'll share it with you. Make like an AI disclosure page, kind of next to the privacy policy and the accessibility link in the footer, and make that page boring but descriptive and exhaustive on everything that you do as a business. AI, training, disclosure. And it starts like this. Orbit Media Studios explicitly gives AI platforms permission to train on the following data, blah, 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 blah. And just put all of everything in there, because that's really what we're doing here. It's not about links anymore. It's about brand mentions. It's about having them everywhere and about having them sort of in it's related to search, right? It's like in a keyword specific context.
Yeah, I love that. I think that that's a great way to make sure that you're checking the box for SEO and then really setting yourself up for success with this new, I'm just going to say GEO, because if it ends up catching on, then we can be like, we called it that back, in March
Katie
of 2025. Decided. Yes.
That's it now. I'm calling
Andy
it
and
that.
Katie.
Thanks, Katie. We named the category.
Well, so, I want to continue talking about AI because it's really, honestly, the more that people, kind of resist it, the further behind that they're going to get. And I feel like I've been saying that in just about every episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing so far this year. Maybe that's what my AI searchability is going to start ranking me on. But it's everywhere, and people either love it or hate it or are nervous about it. I think what we talked about is how AI is going to be changing the search game going forward. Mm-hmm. How do you see AI changing the content game?
Well, AI can do things that humans literally cannot do. There's a couple of great use cases in content marketing. I like using AI for gap analysis. And I frequently will give it like an article that's a draft, like what's missing from this. Mm-hmm. Or give it a web page, train it on your persona, then give it a web page, what's missing from this page. And they'll do things like, I mentioned adding proof and evidence. Hey, count the number of unsupported marketing claims I made in this page, and it'll count the number of unsupported marketing claims. Then you can go improve that thing. But in content strategy, you can literally ask AI, what are the most important topics to my audience? And I always start with a persona. Give it a persona, upload one, or train it on the persona. What are the most important topics for my persona that are the least likely covered by the big blogs? And humans can't really do that because you could never read every blog in your industry. But AI has read every blog in your industry, and it will come back and tell you these are the least likely covered topics. Or after giving it the persona, you could say, I did this morning. Oh, I'm going to read you one. This is really funny. I gave AI these simple prompts. I'll read them to you. This is fun for social media. Let's do office managers. What are some relatively mundane, almost trivial topics that office managers have strong opinions about? Passive aggressive thermostat battles, reply all abuse, reheating fish in a microwave. 100% of people will have an opinion about that. How about some relatively mundane opinions that exotic animal veterinarians, large exotic animal veterinarians? I know nothing. I literally know zero about this topic. These are the things that large exotic animal veterinarians have strong opinions about. Glove preferences. What's the perfect thickness for that glove? Dart gun versus blowpipe for injecting anesthesia. Needle gauges for different species. How thickness of a needle do you need for the rhino or the zebra? What are the most annoying species to work with? What's the best way to set up your truck? What are the best versus worst smelling medications? So fun, right? Try that prompt. It will tell you what is triggering and interesting and provocative without being controversial for your target audience. So AI is a fantastic content strategy assistant.
I love using AI to brainstorm. I know that, I had Kim Garst on here at the beginning of 2025, and we were talking about the different perks of some of the big name AI models, from Claude to Perplexity to Gemini to ChatGPT. Which one do you find yourself brainstorming with the most?
Well, because I'm always like teaching AI at events and speaking at conferences and writing articles, I'm really just using ChatGPT because everyone has it. So it's not because I'm an advocate for it or that I love it more. I know our mutual friend, Mike Stelzner, is a fan of Claude. ChatGPT can crawl with a Plus account. It can crawl the internet. I need it to do that. I'm asking it to go look at things. It accepts uploads. I'm going to give it a GA4 report and ask it for insights. It can draw charts. It can create visualizations. Create for me a heat map matrix, a color-coded heat map matrix showing the extent to which this page aligned with best practices or my visitors' needs. It does those things. Claude, I'm very impressed by the ability to create interactive things. Give it a chart and say, to make this an interactive chart. Like it doesn't give you just Python code, which I don't know what to do with, but it makes an interactive widget like on your screen. Now that every ChatGPT Plus account user has deep research, they rolled that out like just now. Very hard. I think it's it's hard to argue for that there's a better, but hey, pick your own, I think vanilla is delicious, but pick the flavor you like.
Yes. I always on the lookout for different tools to maybe play around with and explore. And I find, since I do a lot of research and look at a lot of data, do a lot of, report comparisons and stuff, I tend to use, ChatGPT the most. But for writing and some of the other tools, sometimes I'll dive into one of the other ones. I'm like, this is actually really good for this task. So I think experiment with them all and kind of see which one fits the needs for that purpose, for sure. I also wanted to talk a little bit about podcasting, because with what you just said, well, not just said, but said earlier about, if you're on a podcast or if you're speaking somewhere, if you're doing a guest blog, make sure to kind of put in that almost subliminal messaging for the AI bots. Mm-hmm. I think that's really a really clever thing to do, because as business owners, especially a lot of the clients that we work with at Next Step Social, they're business owners, CEOs that are looking to become the spokesperson for their business. So with them doing a lot of speaking, I think that's a really good idea to have that kind of subliminal messaging in each of their guest appearances. How long do you think that those should be? Do you think that people, it seems like obvious and spammy if you're saying that in every single episode or appearance? I mean, I found that I'm actually getting, if I type my name into ChatGPT, it actually spits out appearances of me on other people's shows. So
Yep.
it's not Rocky Mountain Marketing that they're giving, examples of, or Next Step Social Agency. It's not that. It's other people's stuff.
Yep. 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 That's the game. You're playing it, and you have a strong brand, Katie, and you're a good example of this because you just did marketing. You just did good PR. You've been present in many places. You get off your own website, and you're just like you're an active member of communities. That gives you a huge advantage. So someone that hasn't done that, it's not too late. I have an extra reason to do that. I don't think it's spammy at all. I mean, and you sort of ask people for their mini elevator pitch during introductions, right? Or you say it like this company does this or this person knows this. If we do it in human interactions and in real life, nothing weird about it at all. So practice it, the elevator pitch for your business, and say it when you have a chance to, when you're being recorded somewhere, add it, if you're on YouTube, yeah, guess what? Google's training on you, Gemini's trained on YouTube transcripts. And so say it wherever you are. Never miss the chance to say, the name of your business and the category you're in. It doesn't have to be long or detailed. On the other hand, and Chris Penn says this, and a lot of us sort of believe this now, if we're making a page that's designed to help train the AI, like I mentioned, kind of that idea of an AI disclosure page, that should mention every combination of every service and company and industry and geography and, topic. Put everything in there. Why not? AI will eat it all. It doesn't mind if it's a long page.
I think man, you've given us so many great I feel like all of these great tips you've given us have kind of just been like, oh, in passing, you should do this. And oh, I'm like, oh man, I got to make sure afterwards I have a AI training page added to my website. I think that's brilliant. We talked about like some of the tools that we enjoy using the most, but I mean, is there any different AI tool that you find you're kind of excited about, whether it's, oh, I've heard this tool. Like, so for me, I loved it once Submagic came out and they upgraded all of their short form video editing because it's an AI that makes it even faster for us. Is there any tool that you're kind of like using a little bit for your business that maybe not a lot of people have known about and you think is something that people should maybe research and look into and see if it's a good fit for their business?
Yeah, I'll name one. But first, I'll call out the millions of others that are basically a thin layer of UX on top of ChatGPT. I've heard now 800 companies a day launching with AI in their name. And there's still only like whatever 6 foundational models. These aren't new foundational models that they trained for $1 billion. The foundational models are mostly in play today. Perplexity is not a foundational model. It uses ChatGPT or you can choose Copilot or whatever. Anyway, the one that's different and I like is called Descript.
I love Descript. Yeah.
I knew you knew it. Yeah. Shout out to Andrew Mason, the founder of Groupon in Chicago, Northwestern University alum and Chicago native, Andrew Mason. It's his business. He spoke at the last MACON, Paul Reitzer's event, Marketing AI conference. But Descript is different. It's doing something more than just prompting for you, which is what a lot of these tools mostly do. You upload a video, it transcribes the video, and then you can edit the video by editing the transcript. You can edit videos without...
Yep, like a Word doc.
Yep, there's no timeline. You just chop out a paragraph, it chops out the paragraph from the video. The newer version does a couple of things that I like also. You can make your eyes face the camera the whole time. Another one is you can translate anything you make into any language, a little weird. But the feature that I use, I'm making like a lot of 12-minute YouTube videos. And if I make one that's 9 minutes or 14 minutes, you can change the speed of your video by just typing in a number. I want this to be I talk too fast sometimes. I want this to play at 0.9. And it just changed. So you can, with one click, you can remove all the ums from your video. So I will, for simple editing, removing the ums, maybe correcting my eyes, and definitely adjusting the speed. Descript, very different tool, very interesting, very useful, and $20 or something, like go buy it.
It's a no-brainer. I absolutely love Descript. We use it at our agency, and man, I remember first few years of Rocky Mountain Marketing, I was editing everything myself in GarageBand, and it was taking a whole lot longer. Descript has been an absolute game changer. Well, as we kind of wrap up today's conversation, I do want to talk about, as business owners, we don't just want traffic. We want to have content that actually converts, right? We want good content that people want to engage with, they want to share, they talk about. What is one thing that you think business owners, and marketers should be doing right now that can make their content work harder for them and also smarter for them?
I don't think people ask this question enough. Katie, I like your questions. You got a great show here. I could talk to you all day. Here's
Thank
some
you.
ideas on how to do sales marketing alignment. And really the proper person to talk about this is probably Matt Hines, because he's the total pro at this, probably the biggest name in like, account-based marketing and like marketing alignment, sales marketing alignment. But one thing that I believe in is you have written 100 things. Some of those answer questions people ask you during sales conversations. If you haven't written those, go write those articles. They're still articles. They're not service pages that support your sales messages. Use them to follow up after sales meetings, or train your reps to follow up after sales meetings with those. Other ways to use those: if you have a CRM that tracks proposals and the proposal is marked as inactive or goes cold, let that trigger a nurture sequence that sends that prospect those top articles that answer sales questions, address objections, demonstrate wild expertise in the topic. So now you're actually showing your articles to the most valuable visitor viewer you possibly could, which is your prospect. Put your sales question answering articles in front of prospects wherever you can. Another trick I'll share we do, which is we don't send proposals. We make a page for that client using WordPress. Takes minutes. We build websites, so this is not hard. They're very easy to manage. And then we send the visitor the prospect, the page is a place to download the proposal. It also has case studies of similar businesses, testimonials from similar companies, logos from companies in their industry. And yes, those articles that explain how, answer the questions from sales. How long does it take to build a website? Why do websites cost so much? What's the average lifespan of a website, right? What's the best way to build a home page? What are the top things wrong with people's about pages? How and how not to use testimonials on websites? Like, these are all very specific to the offer, the thing we do. So those are some ways where views don't matter, rankings don't matter, shares don't matter. You're giving it to your prospect, and that's going to improve your close rate.
Oh, I absolutely love that idea. That's brilliant. Like you said, you have an agency that does it, so building that one-page website isn't as difficult. But wow, what a way to kind of wow a potential customer. And man, your remarkability factor. Thanks again, Rich Brooks, for jumping on into this conversation without knowing it. But, well, Andy, this has been such a great conversation. I really appreciate any time I get to see you on stage. I'm a subscriber to your LinkedIn newsletter, so I enjoy reading your LinkedIn newsletter whenever it comes out. And like I said, I got my content chemistry book here. It's a thick one, guys, but it literally answers all the questions. If you're not into getting the giant textbook, at least sign up for Andy's LinkedIn newsletter, because it's phenomenal. And what are some other ways for people to get in touch with you, learn more about you? You are speaking at numerous events. Tell us all things Andy Crestodina.
Orbitmedia.com/blog is the first place that I publish anything that I write. Orbit Media Studios has a YouTube channel where I maybe put a video once a month or something. It's mostly where I'm just hosting videos that you see other places. LinkedIn is my best channel. Anyone listening to this, if they'd prefer to not follow but connect, just click the dots and you can find the connect link, and then we can chat and DM each other. Yeah, all kinds of different events. And yeah, the book was actually, this is funny because it's bigger than it was before. I just updated it, Katie. It now has all the prompts in it. I had to update it for GA4 and for AI. So now version 7, you have version 6. Version 7 has all the prompts, and I've written this book 7 times. It is 391 pages, but very concise. It is it's the illustrated handbook for content marketing. It's filled with diagrams.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. It's definitely, when you handed it to me, I was like, wow. We will include a link to the book in the show notes. But Andy, this has been such a great conversation. Thank you so much for joining me on Rocky Mountain Marketing today.
Thanks for having me. I really could talk to you all day. This was fun.
Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. I hope you're leaving with valuable insights and the inspiration to lead your market. If you've enjoyed our time together and found today's podcast episode useful, I have a small favor to ask of you. Please hit that subscribe button to stay updated with the latest episodes. And if you know someone who could benefit from these episodes, maybe a fellow business leader or an aspiring entrepreneur, go ahead and share this episode with them. Let's spread the knowledge and grow together. Also, I'd love to hear from you and continue the conversation beyond the podcast. Visit me at katiebrinkley.com to connect, to find more resources, or just to share your journey. And be sure to pick up your copy of my new book, The Social Shift, at katiebrinkley.com/book. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Katie Brinkley, and I can't wait to dive into more strategies and stories with you on the next episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. Let's keep on taking your marketing to new heights.